Thanks for tuning in. This is Stephen Meadows. I just wanted to take a quick moment to tell you about Anchor FM. It is the easiest way to start your own podcast. I thought it was going to be hard. It's actually not. The best part is that Anchor is free. That's right, it's free. There are amazing creation tools where you can record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor handles the distribution for you, so your podcast can be heard on all the major podcast channels like Spotify, Apple, Google, and so many more. And the coolest part is you can actually make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It really is everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So go to anchor.fm on your computer or download the Anchor app from your app store and get started today. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the show.
Welcome to Mind Your Business. I'm your host, Stephen Meadows. Welcome back to another great episode, or at least I hope it's going to be a great episode. Today, I want to talk a little bit about being open to opportunities. So, I've been in the real estate business for 20 years. Yes, I feel very old, but it's taught me quite a few things. And one of the things that I have learned is that you really do need to be open to new opportunities and new avenues of growth, whether that be in your personal career, whether that be in your business. So, this is advice that I'm sending out to not only solo entrepreneurs, but also to business owners. So, you may have a brokerage or an insurance company or whatever. You might be a home inspector, it doesn't matter. Owning a business means that you're an entrepreneur. By definition, if you're a business owner, you are an entrepreneur. I don't understand when entrepreneurs are not open to hearing about new opportunities. Now, let me just preface that by saying I fully realize that there are a lot of trashy garbage scammer deals out there, multi-level marketing that's just absolutely off the wall, whatever. So I'm not talking about opening yourself up to every scam on the block. I'm more referring to legitimate business opportunity or legitimate ways that you can grow or learn about your business. So many of you know my background. One of the hats that I have worn in the real estate industry is franchise development. So essentially, I was one of those people that would call brokerage owners and say, "Hey, am in town. I want to talk to you about Coldwell Banker." And of course, most of the time they would say, "I don't want to buy a franchise or whatever." I was used to that. But it was really interesting when I did get in front of them how they were most of the times captivated by what I had to say. It wasn't me per se. It wasn't that I was so great and I was so interesting. It was A, I was giving them a glimpse into the competition. B, I was giving them valuable information about the real estate industry. And C, I was helping them to look at their business from a different angle. I remember talking to a brokerage and to actually two brothers-in-law, and they had actually reached out to me. It was really odd. That doesn't happen very often in the franchise world. And we were having lunch, and one of them asked me a question like, "Well, why would I do X instead of Y?" And I won't get into the details of what we were talking about, but I gave him a very compelling answer, basically asking questions. I didn't tell him anything. I just asked him a series of questions, and it really opened his eyes. And he was like, "Okay, continue." So I didn't sell him on anything. I simply opened his eyes to a different way of thinking. And that's really the value that some people can bring to a business opportunity conversation. So whether you're an agent and you're looking for ways to grow your business, or maybe you're approached by another brokerage, it doesn't necessarily hurt to talk. Now, I will also say that you're going to be approached by other brokerages. It's just the name of the game. And it does get tiring and it does get very time consuming to have conversations. But I've never been one to shy away from that. I consider it a compliment, and I kind of laugh when agents get miffed about that. Like I'll have one of my managers will say like, "Well, I called so and so, and they were really snippy with me about calling them." I've never understood that. I don't get it. I'm paying you a huge compliment by calling you out of all the hundreds of agents out there. I'm reaching out to you and saying that I see something in you and I would like to speak with you. I don't get it. I really don't understand why that would be an insult or why you would need to get angry about it. Simply saying no, thank you. Hey, I really appreciate you calling, but I really don't have a desire to talk at the moment. That's sufficient. Okay, maybe you don't want to talk. I don't understand why in some cases, especially if your business is not where it needs to be. If you're not succeeding in whatever business you're in, why wouldn't you be open to talking to someone? Obviously, what you're doing isn't working, and that might sound mean or harsh or whatever, but that's just the reality of it. I've reached that point in my career before where I'm like, whatever I'm doing just isn't cutting it, and I need something else. So I just find it very funny when an agent gets all uppity about the fact that a manager has called them to talk to them. Take the compliment and move on. It's just like getting flirted with out in public. I know some people handle it different ways. Some people get offended. How dare you talk to me? And other people just say, oh, thank you. I'm in a relationship or I'm married or whatever it is. And they move on with life. Um, Take the compliment and move on, as long as it wasn't inappropriate. So, but speaking of inappropriate, there are inappropriate ways to approach an agent. For an example, if I'm going to call an agent and say your brokerage is trash, you should come work for me. That's a reason to get indignant. That there's no excuse. We're all professionals here. So if the only way that you can recruit someone is to sling mud, then you obviously don't have a good enough value proposition. But if I approach someone, it's because I see them as a valuable asset. I see them as someone who might be a good cultural fit, or I see them as all of the above, but I see them as someone that I can help. I have a program, I have a tool, I have a system, I have something that I can bring to the table that can help them do their business more efficiently, help them make more money, help them do more units, whatever their goal is. I don't presume to know what their goal is, so I don't just call someone and say, "Hey, come work for me. You can make more money." Maybe they don't want to make more money. Maybe they want to actually wind their career down. It doesn't really matter. I find out through asking questions. But the important thing is to be open to the conversation. So let's say you're absolutely happy with your brokerage. Okay, great. Congratulations. I have a lot of agents that I work with in my company and from other companies that are 100%, I am so loyal. I will never leave. Never is a strong word, but they're happy and there's no reason to go anywhere. Think about it from a strategic point of view. I'm happy. I'm very, very satisfied where I'm at, but I'm in competition with this other company. So if I get a call from ABC Realty and the broker or the manager or whoever wants to talk to me, hmm, could I gain some interesting knowledge from that conversation? What could I learn about my competition? Maybe I can get an inspiration for a new idea. Maybe I can find out what tools they're using that I'm not. I find it very interesting from a brokerage level to go, you know what? Talk to that person, find out what they're doing differently. I'm not talking about spying, not that that's necessarily a bad thing in this industry. We are all in competition with one another, but you know, there's nothing wrong with taking a listen because you know what? As an entrepreneur, you kind of owe it to yourself to explore that. Say, I'll listen. That's cool. I've had many conversations with people knowing it wasn't going to go anywhere, and I'll be honest with them up front. Look, I'm happy to listen, but I'm just telling you right now, like I'm not in a position where I'm going to make a decision right now, or I'm not at a point where I'm willing to make a change. So on a company level, you should always be open to speaking, especially if you're a brokerage owner. If a franchise development person rings you up and says, "I'm going to be in town. I'd love 10 minutes with you." What's the problem? Yeah, some of them are pushy, but you're going to learn something. If they are worth their salt. Some of them are very pushy and very, I won't say sleazy, but they don't have any value to bring. They just want to talk fast and get you a sign on the dotted line. When you deal with a properly trained franchise development person, you're going to learn things about your business. They're going to sell you on the process of franchising or discuss that with you. It's actually, I would recommend the book, The Challenger Sale. It's a great book. It was a book that I had read when I took the position that I did before this one, franchise development. And it really teaches you about process selling versus product selling. And I've talked about this before on this podcast briefly. And I'll probably do another episode about that at some point because it is a very interesting topic. But basically, the Challenger Sale goes into some detail about how people really want to learn about the process of selling or buying or whatever it is. So that was my goal. My goal was to be an educator whenever I was in front of a brokerage owner. Is I wanted to educate them not only about their own business, but about what it looks like to franchise and how a franchise could, not always, but could potentially be a good fit for them. Not every company is a good fit for that situation. Not every agent is a good fit for recruitment. So you have to be just sort of general with that. I have conversations all over regarding mergers and acquisitions. And I also have a lot of people that aren't willing to talk to me. That's fine. Because you know what? We are competition. But if you're listening to this and you happen to be one of my competitors in the market, the one thing that I always promise is confidentiality. And, I really enjoy having conversations about exit strategies and creative ways that we might be able to work together. So I encourage you to be open. If someone contacts you and says, hey, we're looking to expand, we're looking to grow, I'd love to talk to you about possibly merging our companies. You might say, I've got a good 20 years before I'm willing to do anything. Thanks, but no thanks. No problem. I would rather you tell me no thanks than to not answer me at all. It's always good when you're in sales, get to the no as fast as you can so you can move on. Maybe no means not right now. Maybe no doesn't mean no. That's fine. That's totally fine. But what kills me is when I know a business is struggling with something. It might be financial, it might be health, it might be just structurally, they just can't support their operations any longer, but the owner is too stubborn to do anything. That frustrates me because I know I can help. I know I can offer suggestions in the conversation. We may never do business together, but maybe what we talk about will spark something. And they'll say, "Oh, thank you so much. Now I'm a resource. Now I'm someone that they feel comfortable in coming to ask questions. And maybe someday, maybe 2, 3, 5 years from now, I'm going to be the one that they turn to when it is finally time to transition their business to another phase, whether they want to step back, whether they want to just go into sales again, whatever it is." But I think it is, I won't say selfish, but I think it's short-sighted to just dismiss someone offhand. If you're a true entrepreneur, there should be no reason that you wouldn't want to learn more about doing business differently. And I'm the same way personally, in my business and in my personal life. If I think that there's a strategic benefit to having a meeting, I will take it. I can't tell you how many lead generation companies I've vetted or demos I've sat through or whatever just to see, you know what? Let me see what you have. Maybe it's something interesting. Maybe I actually will enjoy it. Maybe I will buy it. I've been amazed at some of the things that I have been convinced of through conversation. Most have worked out okay. Some have been a mistake. That's okay. Remember, I don't believe in regrets. So I learned something valuable. And now I can turn around and I can take that mistake, that learned experience, and I can help pass that along to somebody else. I can say, don't make the mistake I made. I talk to my agents about lead gen, and I can kind of advise them and say, when you talk to lead gen companies, here are some questions you should ask because I didn't ask that question and I ended up spending money that I didn't need to spend. Or, we didn't have a clear understanding of what we're buying because these questions were asked a different way, or I didn't demand proof of X. So sometimes it's just worth the learning experience. And I just strongly encourage you to always be open to those types of situations because you just never know when you can learn something valuable or an opportunity may actually present itself. And you go, wow, so glad I took that phone call. So glad I took that meeting. It was worth the hour, it was worth the 20 minutes, whatever it was. What is your time worth in relation to opportunity to grow your business or to accomplish something or to solve a problem? You just never know. So that's my takeaway for today. I want you to stay open, be willing to listen, and be open to opportunities, especially if it's from me. If I reach out to you, please let's chat. I'm not reaching out for my health. I'm reaching out to see if I can help you. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Go out there and make awesome choices. Hey, one more thing before you go. I just wanted to tell you really quickly about an amazing service that I think you'll love. If you're in real estate and you are tired of trying to figure out social media content, I have got the thing for you. I helped a friend of mine develop a company called Gnome Marketing Group, and they offer Facebook page management for an incredibly low price. So basically, how it works is you sign up, you make them an editor on your business page, and they will post 12 different posts per week. So it's two per weekday, one on the weekend each day for you. You don't have to do anything. They have hashtags and everything. It's really great. And it's incredibly cheap. If you go to knowthegnome.com/coupon, you can sign up with my coupon code Steven45 and get it for $45 a month. That's incredibly cheap for someone to do all your social media posting for you on your business page. Again, that's Know the Gnome, KNOWTHEGNOME.com/coupon and use my coupon code Steven45, STEPHEN 45, $45 a month. It's $30 off. It's an incredible price. I hope you take advantage of it. It's an amazing service. Have a great one.